Welcome everyone to another sort of low-level video. You would think in 2022, after 30 years of Linux, 40 years of FSF, GNU and 50 plus years of Unix, and 10,000 developers working on BSDs and Linux kernel and stuff, everything would just be freaking working TM, right? Industry adoption, everyone from Google to Facebook, Netflix and Twitter just reuses open source, and with 10,000 of engineers, kernel developers, and even big hardware business, not only IBM, but Intel, AMD, and everyone in between, embracing open source, and that's the best invention since sliced bread. Everything would be just freaking working TM, but of course, 2022, of course, your latest and greatest enthusiast board, AM5, AM4, Intel, you name it. Of course, you're freaking, of all the other stuff that is not perfect, performance marginalities, security vulnerabilities, and hardware sensors, of course, not working. So what is the case in point? I knew this, of course, already for over a month. The usual fight of, so what do I even freaking do here? You have new hardware, or often even you wait like 5 years. I could hold a motherboard box here, but you know how motherboard boxes look. You buy some stuff, so either of course, day 0 or day number 1, stuff doesn't work. You wait a year or 2, stuff doesn't work. And like case in point, temperature sensors. Of course, we have some sensors, AMD GPU, which is some RX 540 or whatever in here. NVMe of like, yeah, you don't have, and that is the crazy stuff, right? You don't have sensor data, temperatures and fan and stuff of your motherboard, but of bloody NVMe drives, and of course the relatively limited and not detailed K1010. So what do I have here? I have a gigabyte previous video, right? I have a gigabyte X670 Aorus Masters Extreme bullshit, extreme gaming bullshit. And ironically, they are even as nice as documenting here on their motherboard block diagram of PC Express of like, hey, 2022, at least you get a bloody somewhat block diagram. So here's some ITE of, that was integrated, whatever, Systems ITE Tech Inc. of, what, it was some integrated tech, whatever, where was it? Yeah, integrated super IO, whatever. Stuff, of course, highly confidential. Look, good old technology from the 70s and 80s. Of course, it's effing freaking confidential. Like, if not like intellectual property like Mickey Mouse is more confidential and an intellectual property trade secret, then obviously freaking super IO of 80s technology of serial ports, keyboard, mouse, floppy. Did I mention floppy? And well, sensor. Like, I only want to know freaking temperature, right? If my VRMs are overheating and boiling off. They even have this here on the motherboard diagram. There was, or maybe I scrolled over that already. I mean, of course, they're not giving you much, but yeah, like, yeah, it's ITE super. They're even so nice to label where the temperature sensor probes here are. I didn't often see that, but even better would be if they labeled, like, I give them a shout out for at least providing that, right? Even cooler would be if they would have put the label here, so I guess that is, well, I guess that's probably obviously the VRM. But I don't know what that is, right? So they have here, maybe that is, because that's the thing, right? So this is probably PCH, and maybe that is, I would need to open the BIOS. They have here like board, like system 1 and system 2. So like, yeah, you could have labeled them, right? So that I don't need to guess which is system 1 and system 2. So as system 1, system 1 of those measures like 10 degrees lower, so that's probably that one here is 10 degrees lower. Anyway, so all I want is a freaking temperature, and if, as per usual, right, the stuff doesn't work. There is actually a gigabyte which made through some news sites, yay, some ASUS and Gigabyte. I will make a dedicated AAA video there on my moment channel, like maybe later or tomorrow stuff, because the whole situation pisses me off so much. It is unbelievable. What, like, it's so low tech, right? Like, nothing of this stuff should be confidential, right? And there should be a bloody standard, right? What is the freaking point that we have some IT and Novaton, or what was the other of, I think I have it for my other, yeah, and what is it, Novartech, or what is the name? Do they have here a name of platform driver? No, they don't, but nothing probably. Some quick Googling can solve. Where is freaking the company name? It doesn't matter. The companies are so intellectual property that they probably don't deserve a shout out. Anyway, so the Gigabyte driver doesn't work. I actually built that and forced that. I actually can show you that. What is, or don't tell me, or did we, oh, don't tell me. Because I built what probe of all things. Oh, that does, however, why does the other, okay, whatever, why is the other freaking drive? Anyway, this one, why does it say other trajectory? I mean, I'm building that right now. Nah, whatever. What this other driver is, and which I would really applaud to be or like, not that to be the standard, but if I would applaud if there is a freaking standard like ACPI, like generic, like who freaking cares what bloody Super IO garbage low pin count. Probably played too much Super Mario. Low pin count chip is there. There should be a bloody standard, right? We have such complex of a mess that is ACPI. Why is there not a bloody, like why, what have Microsoft and Intel done for 25 years, except giving a shit? That there is not a bloody standard, right? Why is there not like ACPI labels, like in the ACPI device tree, like bloody labels for the like nicely enumerated indexes and what to query in whatever ACPI virtual machine technology stuff. Anyway, still we need, so there is a driver, but I guess this other driver, maybe this other driver like Gigabyte WMI, I patched that. Do I have that? So also the Gigabyte ID for this Gigabyte WMI driver is dead beef, right? Like dead beef. You getting that? It's like that is their freaking ID for their bloody fan and sensor driver. So that driver doesn't produce any sensors for me. It could be that that other driver only works with a motherboard that might be using an NCT 97 whatever chip, because obviously the motherboard vendors, they alternate, like I don't know, whatever the supply chain, like what they get in quantities or cheaper or whatever. So other motherboards are using other Super IO or temperature sensor integrated circuits. So while this API looks quite generic, so this GUID is there, it doesn't work the way the Linux kernel driver is written for me. I could reverse engineer that another day, but I'm not reverse engineering and disassembling the BIOS right now. So I checked already. If you with sensors detect, probe that dangerously while you're freaking compiling your Linux distribution. Actually, we also need to have some other stuff to compile, by the way. Should we like probably build all stuff of Snape 16 as well? Because we have a Linux distribution to release. So that, what that does is it's low-level I/O port probing around there, like dangerous stuff of poking around directly without kernel drivers. And that finds here an unknown chip with ID 8689. So that is most likely another variant of this IT super intellectual proprietary top secret super IO stuff. And I, like other people on the internet, already found, and that is the thing, right? If you Google for this stuff, like at support there somewhere of, it's like, yeah, you find stuff, and nobody, what I'm really sure, this stuff is so annoying that even the author of this IT87 drivers, or like at least maintainer at some point, this maintainer stepped down, right, of the widely used IT87 with the vendor never got the documentation. The secret, our secret contact who was Linux friendly at Gigabyte sometimes gave us some documentation, but he disappeared. So now we get our documentation mirror. So like 2020, actually 2018 or so, the author, that is Röckel, right? Of, why is he not here? What is his name? Something with Röckel, as far as I remember. So he even's like, yeah, you know what, like here, bloody vendor, I'm not maintaining your stuff as documentation anymore. Anyway, so where other people give up, and because I wanted my Zensus already working long before other Linux news sites picked this stuff up, I actually have here one of those Linux distributions that is our T2 Linux, shipping that for a while. And so we are shipping for years a 132K patch for the last release maintained by, what is it, Walter Röckel or or his name. So the last patch they released, and it's like, yeah, for 4 years, and it's like there is no change in this IT87 Linux kernel driver, that the patch probably mostly, like PS3, even PS3 I constantly have to rebase. And it's like Linux kernel developers are like, nah, we are not touching this hardware monitoring. Like we are not doing temperatures and fan control, right? Like if you want to read your temperatures and fan control, you know which windows you have to go to, right? So it's like, yeah, you can't make it up. So let's, as usual, be the last people here on all of YouTube to maintain this pile of garbage. I also have 2 here. So, and if the highly intellectual property top secret company of IT integrated, there it is, integrated technology express for express sensor and fan reading incorporation, or this other Novotel, Noctotel, NCT, what even freaking, what's their name? Maybe we should check. So these chips are of course not that different. It would be amazing if you give me freaking documentation, right? We also have a microkernel to write. So yeah, thank you for that. And that is even, that download is from the website, right? Like confidential intellectual property straight from some CMS of like Googling that. That's not the right spec, that's IT87. It's just example, obviously, but it is ridiculous. It should be, in my opinion, with the right to repair, it should be freaking forbidden to sell integrated circuit without publicly available freaking documentation to actually, like, I buy this overpriced enthusiast launch day 0 Ryzen 7000 X 670 Aorus Masters Extreme gaming nonsense, and all I get is no temperature reading, right? Thank you very much. So I tested that already. I force mod probe that. That would be drivers, hardware monitor, and I also don't understand why this bullshit always ends up on my plate here, right? It's like there are so many discussions. Why has nobody ever freaking, like, the people rather mod probe this stuff with force ID whatever than freaking writing a proper kernel patch. But now I show you how to do that, because give you a force ID mod probe only like, and you have sensor data for a day, teach you how to patch a Linux kernel driver and hopefully have more people contributing to this forever. How you're able to show a confidential document here. I found it with Google. I mean, if I find it on the internet, then it's like I didn't sign a shit, right? I mean, I Googled this, I get that. I mean, it's confidential bullshit, my ass. If I find it with Google, if it's on their website of like, you Google this name and you get it on ITE.com/TW/uploads, whatever, then it's like there in the public, right? Do I even have but I don't care. I didn't sign an NDA, right? Anyway, thanks for asking. I hope you enjoy this. So let's patch the heck out of this shit. Where's the bloody header for? Does it have a header? IT87. So what you do is, okay, it doesn't. You just take the next best ID, right? So IT86. What do we have? Do we have this in? So that is what we had, 8689, but this force ID stuff doesn't work the way I thought it would be. 86, here. So if we want to do it nice, then so what we do is we just copy do they have tabs? No, they don't. So we have 89. It's like, and there should be a bloody standard, right? And it's also, the Super IO chips are also similar. Maybe they remove floppy support because I mean, sure, there are probably some differences, right? But I don't freaking care whether this bloody Super IO chip still is freaking 80s floppy support or bloody 80 keyboard or stuff. All I want is my bloody. So what I want to say is that for sure there are differences, like certainly some legacy support removed, but we are speaking about bloody ADC controllers for temperature sensing, right? And as you see here in this file, they are pretty similar. 86, 80. What did we copy? 86, right? So it's like, yeah, let's just add this here. So that would be, maybe we copy already. So with 9, I think, mod probe 86, 89, 86, 89. There was a space, maybe there was a space. So device ID, this is ironically just the name anyway. So 89, 89. It's rocket science, right? Andreas Baumann confirms IT87 83E/F ranked #1 Google LOL. Yeah, like LOL, like intellectual bloody property for bloody fan, and I can't get over that. This is so ridiculous. That is the MacBook fan spin of Louis Rossmann micro soldering here. And with Epic thread wrapping audio distribution, we certainly have some good fan spin, as you probably guessed from a load of 41. So so we could, I will probably not replicate that, so I could copy that. So this is just, I mean, they have here, what do they have? Temp offset, are they the same? 56, 47, others are, they are slightly different here, 91, 1991. I will probably not copy that. Because I don't know what the right ones are, right? So I'd rather, what I usually like to do is just copy the use here. So that would be, darn, I used the wrong editor. Okay, just 1 second. Of course we want Vim, not NVI. IT86, 89. Because then we have somewhat, what did I, probably 86. What did I even, right, I copied the wrong one, 86. 86, of course. And then we just reuse this other definitions from the 86. So that one clearly sees, did I copy that now too much, or probably, huh? 86, 89, 86, 80, and you don't even need the freaking intellectual property non-disclosure garbage specifications here. It's just like, I mean, that was not even the right one, right? The one because exactly that one didn't find there, so 86, 89, 86, 89, and it's probably similar, so maybe more, maybe less, who knows. Like, would be nice if you give me specification, but for today I get what I take what I get here. So all this stuff, temperatures, whatever that stuff is, temp types, like, yeah, whatever. And then here, of course, oh, wait a second, how is it sorted? 86. So, like, is this reverse sorted or what? 86, 60. Okay, let's, whatever it is sorted here, let's 86, 89. So yeah, we use this types there, temp types, and here too, 86, 86, 89, E, def ID. It's a little bit finger, elbow grease here of copy and pasting all this stuff. Maybe just an area, whatever. Do you have here 86, 86, 89. Additional fence, as fence 6 enabled. And copy and paste takes longer than typing. 86, what have I done here now? 89. Maybe I should copy that. So I guess that could be mostly it. I only wonder, did we... this was this enum chip there. We have edited there, 86. So that's kind of sort of all it takes. Should we patch ourselves as we are the last morons to maintain that in this day and age? Yeah, Unicode and not the last freaking people maintaining this life on all of YouTube. Then how did this work? I think it was like drivers. I always forget this one module build thing, but I guess it was maybe this, or maybe not. Maybe that. There was already some warning. And of course we love warnings. May fall through. I wonder if that was already the case before. This statement implicit fall through. Looks a little bit like that. Was it previously there, or did we mess that up? Note here, maybe. And function. Maybe we messed this up. 1486. But did we not only 86, 89? Ah, wait. Oh no, what? Oh, this probably is trickily programmed. Maybe that is intentionally. So that probably was there, I guess. So that's probably if index, so like less index, like only supporting. Actually, this looks really strange. C programmers, did they really meant that? Is this, I have no idea. It's not our IC, it is another chip. Does it have like only higher? Temp limit 6. This looks somehow really strange. Finding other people's bug live on this channel. This looks a little bit suspicious. Anyway, this could be enough to work. Fix file diff here. And let's see what was originally in here. So this patch, of course, adds a bunch of chips that are not even the Linux kernel, because we want, like, obviously the best Linux distribution. What to expect? The only people brave enough to ship this IT87. So yes, this is like that upstream. So in this, so what that does is it errors out for indexes less than 3 and otherwise falls through here. So I don't have this IC. I have no idea if that makes sense. If this, but I'm not touching 86. I mean, I don't have that to test. I would need to check all the inventory in the office to see if we have anything with this bloody IC. But a real pro tip to those bloody vendors: stop constantly changing your bloody barely different temperature super IO things, right? It's I don't know what is wrong with them to constantly change that. So did I already? What is that here? Why are they changing this from 0 to 0, 0, 0? Are they born and have nothing else to do? By the way, why do they patch a freaking version in here that they then don't define? This makes no sense to me. I hate such changes. Okay, you know what, let's clean up this random nonsense here. And I noticed this pointless, does it then even still build 1, 2, 3, so okay, we do, because it's like, I noticed that like not provided, this like who thought that is a good idea, right? This looks like so BIOS firmware programmer of like, yeah, YOLO, to be edited by OEM, not provided. It's like not applicable. It's like are you effing kidding me? I could edit that also way, but I don't want that the rest of the patch doesn't. I mean, yeah, I could 1, 2, 3. I could try that though. I just append that here, and so that will not apply anymore because we just edited, like, at least if I want to have my name in here. So let's hand edit that thing here, and it's like, yeah, let's maybe patch this bloody not provided thing also away. So that would be so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 4 less is 26. feeling lucky here, and then we need less context. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 less makes this 13 to 23. If I didn't, let's hope for the best. It's like, yeah, I don't know why. I need to do this here, right? You would really expect people from IBM, SUSE, AMD, Intel, ASUS, Gigabyte. It's like, yeah, if you are if you, yeah, SUSE, IBM, ASUS, Gigabyte, you probably want to share, like, subscribe, Patreon. It's like, if you are one of those manufacturers of 600 plus euro enthusiast gaming motherboards, then you probably want to super Cenk and Patreon. There's some coins for our coffee jar. Unfortunately, that is not even I'm totally aware that this is not even the most preferred. It's like, yeah, also we probably have a pretty high I/O load here of, maybe we shouldn't. But this is in temperature for some performance. This is not the. I'm totally aware that this is not the most preferred solution, because the ACPI resources are reserved, and you need to reboot. You need to boot with ACPI force resource whatever lex for that driver to be able to claim those I/O ranges. The thing is, I'm not into reverse engineering this stuff for like a whole afternoon, night, or weekend. Their ACPI API their dead beef beginning of this live stream API that doesn't work for me. It's like, hey, might potentially okay, let's not waste CPU cycles. My hand edited patch apparently applied. Let's double check that. So unfortunately, I thought should theoretically someday between now and forever, but you certainly need to share, like, subscribe, GoFundMe, Patreon, or something of that sort. So yeah, we have here 2 patches, and the second is probably my. Was it so many locations here? It probably could very well be that there's so many locations. So yeah, theoretically, unfortunately, this for most compatibility and long-term stuff that should be even done slightly differently. Although, in any case, like if you have this kind of IC on integrated circuit on another non-x86, like recurring theme, right, unmatched, high-5, sci-5, unmatched. I don't know. Maybe this has none. Also. It's just an example, right? Not a paid advertisement and stuff. Like IBM Open Power or Spark or whatever, or ARM, then this would still be usable if you have this dead beef Gigabyte ASUS ACPI WMI. What does it even stand for? Protocol. Then you probably want to use that. Instead, what does it freaking even so? It's what would it be? Watchdog monitoring? What is this abbreviation standing for? Windows management instrumentation? Seriously? It's like, yeah, if it really stands for that, And ironically, ASUS had this for some bloody EEPC, right? If you remember this EEPC nonsense. Like, yeah, WMI creates a standardized interface, so standardizes ASUS and Gigabyte have their own YOLO cursed versions. Thank you very much. It's like, yeah, I wish there would be a true hardware standard. I mean, if this is some bloody driver standard or whatnot, because we have also ASUS, right? And all I really want, and I need to make a dedicated video there on the Moment channel, there needs to be like not some software ACPI standard, there should be a hardware standard, right? To be usable. I mean, even this is not a standard, right? This is a per vendor hack of Windows related hacks. Thank you very much. It's, yeah, there should be, like, it's hilarious that there is not a, what we really need is a real interface. I mean, like querying, sure, this needs to be dynamic of how many fans and sensors and stuff, and then querying the hardware I/O port. The problem is that ACPI is a mess. I wouldn't want that necessarily be an ACPI standard, because ACPI is a mess and over complex and stuff, and normally you wouldn't want that on ARM, RISC-V, PowerPC and stuff. So, like, yeah, ideally that should be a hardware like VGA kind of standard, in my opinion. But leave in the comments below how amazing you find this. Now we have a little bit. What's this freaking cleanup? Is the freaking running? I think my I/O thing here is a little bit constrained. Yeah, should be this one. Maybe I shouldn't embarrassingly parallel build on a bloody USB 3 connected USB drive. This is like on a PSSD. It's probably not ideal. Let's see if that I would want to mod probe that. Nothing like mod probing, just edited module. Oh, this also didn't. Apparently still. Driver version. Oops. Is that all? So much to last minute patching some driver version away. Like, honestly, it's like, nah. Nobody needs that anyway. I mean, because it's part of the, I mean, who cares? It was even undefined, right? I mean, I don't understand why people need to include a version that is not specified. It's like, seriously. And then it's whatever shipped with your driver, but you know what, let's maybe copy that over. IT87. I could just mod probe it from there, but shit. Did I had this already mod probed? Why does it say this? Or did I forgot? Darn, maybe I forgot to boot with. I think force load will not work. Or does it? Oh, it did load actually. Interesting. So yeah, there we have it, IT8686. It looks somewhat reasonable, but I would need to... Oh, this is interesting. This is AMD SI. It may be right. It may be right. It may be wrong. It's, but at least you get some reference. So the best thing now would be to quickly reboot without temperatures changing too much. That with like a 30 seconds or 40 seconds DDR5 training boot times, it's a little bit nah, but it's the best we got. And like noting that down, saving that to file or whatever, booting to the BIOS as fast as you can, and then compare that with the values there. Or like obviously now I am pretty much loaded here. A more accurate reading would be comparing idle times, right? Either like letting it idle, saturate temperatures to ambient plus idle, like PCH, VRMs, CPU and stuff. And like if you were like 10, 15, 20 minutes idle into like idle thermal saturation, then reboot, and then you can more reliable than full load match that to the BIOS, whatever the BIOS shows here, right? My pro-tip there. So it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing, right? At least you have some voltages that may or may not be, mostly maybe, although the 3-volt battery probably looks relatively reasonable. I mean, you can take the battery out now, right? It's like, yeah. But honestly, even other people doing that for other sensors, I guess very few people really validated that the temperatures are 1-to-1 perfect. I mean, not to mention temperature 6 minus 55 degrees. So anyway. And ideally even, because the BIOS allows me to change the fan curves, so this IC's integrated circuit even has configuration registers, at least in this advanced newer variants, to change which temperature input to use for which fan, right? So the only fan I have here, an NZXT Kraken set 73, and I connected one of the 3 fans, so like 2 fans on this Kraken are controlled by the Kraken itself here, and 1 fan for reasons like better ventilation over the memory, which I rather overvolted and overclocked, and have some more airflow, like the center fan I connected to the logic board, and I selected system temperature, system 2, whatever that is. No, I closed it already. Maybe I should actually choose a VRM, which might be 80 degrees, if that is a VRM temperature. And that's exactly the reason I wanted that. Ideally, I would even want my memory temperature, which I previously had, right? On AM4, I had my memory temperature, but because like nobody of the major companies cares about this, I actually would like to know how hot the memory is. And with DDR4, you only had this for very high-end memory, a temperature sensor, but for DDR5, my understanding is usually, like probably all DDR5 on board, like on DIMM, memory voltage controllers have usually or all a temperature inside this hub or so IC, so even if it's not precise, at least you have some kind of 5 degree less because offset in the middle of the module and stuff. But I would like to have that. But I tried to get that work some month ago. It didn't just work due to too many changes. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, there you have it. We have one last, but it's like, yeah, in my opinion, to summarize that the big mega corporations should not only create better standards, like yes, 12 sucking standards in the 13th sucking standards, totally with that, but the ambition should be higher, right? Instead of 12 sucking standards, at least there should be some not as sucking standard. And then also someone between Intel, AMD, ASUS, Gigabyte, or Justice, ITE, NCT, whatever. Novo, Nocturtel, what is even the other bloody... whatever. We probably would find that, and let's check that in a second. That's one more, like that would be this one, 2 lines less here. Who cares about the bloody non-existing version printout? In 2 lines less here, right? That would be 112. Nothing like feeling lucky. Live here on this channel. And if you want to have this patch, of course, it will be live in T2. Simply the best Linux distribution here, developed by me for 25 years and now live on this channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Patreon, GoFundMe, GitHub sponsorship, or YouTube stuff or merchandise like hashtag Peakbucks shirt, iLinux code, or other amazing merchandise. They're usually linked on the videos. And let's last check what's the name of this other often used company is. NCT. Oh yeah, one of those. Let's just open one and see if they have the... Novoton. I was close, right? Did I? I probably something kind of like that. This is also Günter Rock. Did I say Günter Rock? So yeah, that is the author of many of those drivers which gave up IT87 because no datasheet and stuff. But yeah. Do they all have a freaking version, or... By the way, do they... I wonder, do Linux kernel drivers, they don't need a version, right? Do they? No, they don't need a version. I mean, what is the bloody point to waste bytes in the source code and binary for a non-defined version? Anyway, that's it for this video. At least I have some temperatures. They're not so amazing temperatures, but at least some random stuff is better than no random stuff. Although garbage in and garbage out, right? But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, including how to hack your, like, at least try, give it an attempt, and then no attempt. Hey, is it no attempts November? Or how was it? Have a good day and night. See you next time.